Guys, welcome to the latest edition of Bearded Fishing Chats, the latest live edition. You guys, yes, the beards are in the house, you guys. It has been a second since we have done a live show. I've been in the process of moving. Your boy's been busy. But you know what, you guys? Honestly, I found a hell of a guest for us tonight. You know, it's not often that I meet someone who likes smallmouth bass as much as I do. It's mind-blowing to even think it exists. But guess what, you guys? On this show, I like to have people on my show who I'm a fan of their content, but who can give value to my audience at the same time. Guys, I have Matt with Matt's Fishin' Mission tonight. Guys, Matt has got an incredible channel. He's a very passionate fisherman. He loves bass fishing. He's from the great state of Ohio, a great outdoor state indeed, very underrated. Guys, let's welcome Matt for Matt's Fishing Mission. Hey, buddy, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I'm thrilled to have you on here, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to talk about the greatest fish alive, smallmouth bass.
Indeed. Indeed, my man. A lot of good things to say about that. And guys, welcome to everybody who's in the chat tonight. Zach, good to have you here, man. Kawasaki Outdoors, good to have you here. Copley in the Creek, good to have you here as well. You guys, thank you so much. And for everybody who I didn't mention, guys, thank you for being here tonight. Psyched to have you guys. Guys, as always, some housekeeping rules. If you have not subscribed to Matt's channel yet, I have the link in the chat description below. Great channel. Highly recommend it if you like bass fishing. Show them some love in that show. And guys, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you guys, please do so. We're looking to grow this audience and make this something bigger than what it is. So Matt, what got you into fishing? Just, kind of tell us about like how your fishing journey started and what got you into it.
Yeah, well, my fishing journey changed drastically from like childhood fishing. My dad was a pay laker, so I didn't really get to learn sport fishing. I thought all fishing had to offer was sit in a chair until the catfish bit your liver. And I didn't really know much more until about, I'd say 2014, 15, when, I started, we actually moved into a place in Loveland, Ohio, which is literally 100 yards away from a river. And I thought, well, I can't just let this river go untouched. I gotta go dip my feet in it and see what's going on. And I was not a bass fisherman. So I started looking up bass fishing and Ohio bass fishing. And funny enough, I found back in 2014-15, I found a teenage John B fishing the Hocking River in places that were at least familiar to me. And I was like, man, this is awesome. This young kid who's in college is like, man, this is exactly what I wanted to learn. And so the pre-Guggen John B is who I learned a lot from in bass fishing. It's kind of piqued my interest. And I was like, wow, this can be really fun. And it's the kind of thing I like to do. Creek walking and exploring. I'd never creek walked or waited for fishing yet, but that got me doing it. And I lived next to a river, and from there it just grew and grew and grew, and learned how to do different things. So yeah, it's been about 9 years, 10 years, almost 10 years of bass fishing. And so yeah, I really didn't sport fish until about 10 years ago.
Man, that's my life. Cool, man. that is super cool, man. Now, I mentioned you being from Ohio, a very, very under the radar state as far as smallmouth bass goes. Obviously, some of the East Coast states get some attention. Michigan, Wisconsin, as well in the Midwest get the attention. Even some of the Dakotas get the attention. But for some reason, for smallmouth bass, I feel like Ohio flies under the radar. Why do you think that is, honestly? Because from what I see on your show, man, it's a hell of a place to be.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, because I mean, I'm in southern Ohio. Like, I'm right near the Ohio River. I'm a 5-minute drive from the Ohio River. And southern Ohio is just the I would say, if that's the tip of the iceberg, we're at the midsection of the iceberg as far as Ohio fishing goes. Yeah. The further you get north, the more that those tribs touch the Erie, where those great big giant smallies are, the better the fishing gets. So, and I don't know, I think I'm spoiled by some of the rivers we have that are tributaries of the Ohio River down here. They are just super, super fertile, and they've got great numbers of smallmouth. While there are some nice smallies, 3-4 pounders, we definitely don't have the 5s and 6s as up north, but just the quantity makes it so fun. And that's I often ask people this about fishing is, would you rather catch just one insane fish Or would you have a day that's 40, 50 fish? And for me, every time I catch a fish, it re-energizes me and gets
Yep.
me amped again. I don't even care if it's a squeak dog. It just, that's how it's just fun. It makes the day go so fast. It's just entertaining. So we definitely have the numbers and the quantities down here, and there are some good quality bass. But yeah, it's good. Ohio's a good fertile place for smallmouth. I love it.
Yeah, and Matt, honestly, when I hear of Ohio, people just talk nonstop about walleye. And of course, for obvious reasons, you guys have got uh the infrastructure there for walleye. You guys have it. But like I said, man, just not often that smallmouth bass gets the publicity I feel like it deserves. So I feel like representing the state, really to me, gives it that good publicity that it needs, honestly, or the recognition, I should say.
And I can see how smallmouth fishing can become so addictive, right? I did a part of my youth growing up in Florida, and so largemouth bass is king there. There are no smallies there. Largemouth bass and largemouth. I don't want to say largemouth is a lazy fish, but they will thrive in stagnant, still waters, whereas smallmouth are constantly fighting current. Their muscles are just there. I mean, they're just built like a smallmouth. When you got a smallmouth on a line versus a largemouth, because the head shakes and the fighting, and that's what gets you so pumped about smallmouth fishing. It's just the thrill of how strong, with how they pack a punch. Like I said, even the 1 pounders take and rip drag on you. So it's fun. They're just a fun fish to catch, a fun, strong fish to catch.
That's a fact, man. Now, Matt, what I've noticed about you and what I like about you is that with fishing, it's hard to ignore that technology it's changing the game for better or for worse. But when I see a guy like you keep it very simple.
Old school, very old school, yeah.
And yet you still catch a ton of fish. You're very proficient. You know what you're doing, and you're very versatile with that. Kind of, touch up on like your feelings towards technology and fishing, and kind of explain how you've been successful without it. Because I feel as if like nowadays, if somebody's just getting into fishing and they don't catch 100 fish their first few times going fishing, they'll lose interest. And so it's easy to say, hey, maybe I need technology to be a good fisherman.
Yeah, I mean, there is a touch of technology. So what I use technology for is just when I pre-scout an area, I use Google Maps, nothing fancy.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm looking for S-bends in rivers, S-bends or sharp sea turns in rivers, because I know that's where typically current is going to have a bit of a rush. Or I look for elevation changes where I know that there's going to be an elevation change, which causes a riffle or a waterfall, or somewhere there's going to be oxygenated water. That's what I look for as far as like using technology. Once I get out on the river, it's just all looking and seeing what you've got, in the moment. The structure and finding that moving water is the two main things: structure and moving water. If you're going to look for smallmouth, I mean, I've never been in the realm of like using technology as far as like for fishing, because I'm not. I mean, I have a kayak and I do some kayak fishing, but I keep it old school, just a paddle and my gear. I don't use electronics or anything like that. And I just feel I would see theirs is a lifelong argument we've all had within, the pro circuit, or just, fishermen in general. Is like, I really wish there would be tournament scenes that didn't use electronics, because I feel that really takes away from the anglers, experienced and instinct on how to find the fish and how to get them to bite, instead of just fishing off a video screen. And I know there's people that will argue against that. You still got to get them to bite, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. I'm very old school. I like the thrill of the hunt. I even said, like, when I'm hunting, I don't like sitting in a tree stand. I would love to spot and stalk, creeping around, trying to be as quiet as possible, walking the trail, because you'll eventually find stuff. It's more of a challenge to me. So for the way I fish and hunt, I prefer the moving around. That's why I always wade. I don't like to sit still. I like to move and find things. If it's not working, find a different area. So that's the essence of what I love to do. And that's what I try to show people how to do. And if they don't want to do it, I just try to entertain them with that.
That is spot on, my man. And I really like how you phrase that. Matt, I think you'll probably get a kick out of this. My mom's tuning in tonight. Bet you both love Brad Paisley's fishing song. I love the old school way of doing things.
Yeah, I've never heard that song, but I agree. I do love the old school way of doing things.
Yep. And the Brad Paisley song, and of course, I'm more into metal myself. But when I heard that song years ago, I just chuckled because yeah, it just speaks to the fishing thing. I'll have to send it to you. Yeah, that's it's cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
So Matt, now correct me if I'm wrong. You have fished on the tournament circuits, correct?
Yeah, wading tournaments. I've done some kayak tournaments, some local charity tournaments, a little bit of everything. Most of what I've been doing this year is I've been in the NAPRA, which stands for National Association of Professional River Anglers.
Yeah.
It's a wading league. And so there's, about 30 guys in it. And there's 2 series. There's one where you get to the Boss series. And this is all sponsored by LureNet. So it's called the Boss, the BOSS series. And then so you've got 2 series, one where you meet up in person, which is geared locally to the Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati area. And then another series where you get to fish your own water, wherever in the state, or some guys can even fish out of state if you want, but it's got to kind of stay in the Midwest so that if it's fair game for comparable fishing. But this year I did the with a baby. I just had a baby, so I did these.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
saw that. Yes, I saw that you're paid. Yes, man. Congratulations.
I did the pick your own water ones, so I didn't
Yep.
have to do a lot of traveling. I could fish around home, be close to home. So it had a great season. The summer league I finished 5th, and the falls I finished 2nd. So a couple wins throughout there. It's been a great. I've done the NAPRA league for going on 3 years now. Great group of guys, local group of guys, and NAPRA started to expand to where eventually it will be a national wading league. And it'll have little regional spots where people can meet up together and fish and, camaraderie and build just the wading style of fishing, running up and down rivers, getting our feet wet.
Right on, man. Right on, man. Now, Matt, kind of a negative topic with all this. So, tournament fishing lately with those guys actually in Ohio cheating in that walleye tournament that you saw recently. Now, I don't know how to quite phrase this, but do you believe that in these fishing tournaments, whether it's the circuits you may be a part of or any circuit for that matter, do you believe that cheating is rampant in fishing tournaments nowadays since there's been this publicity on those guys now?
I don't think it's rampant, but I think it's there. I mean, in the league that I do, it's not rampant, but I think that it's there within. I mean, I'm not talking about NAPRA, but in just the small local tournament scenes. Pro, it's harder to cheat in the pro circuit because there are so many eyes and cameras and ways to, figure out if cheating's being done. But yeah, it is. It's there, and it's not as much as a deterrent as it is just kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say about that. It's just I've never been involved in a I guess an incident or a league that had a cheater be found out. So I've never really had to be placed in the middle of that. But seeing it go on, what's interesting is that guy that you mentioned, the walleye cheater, just got busted for hunting.
I saw that.
For poaching, and I'm like, talk about a bad apple. Those are the bad apples.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw that, man, and I was just absolutely stunned here.
That's a great point that Jeremiah brings up here, is that we use catch boards and pictures, which is very hard to cheat. And I know that NAPRA is moving towards their own in-house app, which you'll have to submit in the moment instead of just sending pictures to a director.
He makes a great point. Point. That's definitely accurate. Hey, man, thank you for that comment, man.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. Seriously.
Weight is so difficult because if you're in the moment, I mean, who's watching your scale? Who saw you calibrate it?
Right.
You could have calibrated it with weight on it and then weighed it. Who knows? So length is obviously the way to go, and just throw a catch board in there and see if you can catch a fish Ohio 18.
There it is. So let's say that somebody's new to tournament fishing. What are some tips that you would give them in order to be successful, or even if they don't place high, let's just say, had it be an enjoyable and fruitful experience?
You want to pre-scout the area, pre-fish the area.
Yep.
within 10 days to 14 days of your tournament scene, whenever that's happening, just so you can figure out, okay, how fast is the water? Where can I get in? What does the structure look like? Just so you're comfortable with where you're going to be and what you need to do when you're there. Because I have gone in blind where I just didn't have the opportunity to pre-fish. And every time that's happened, it turned out to be a not great day. And so I would say make sure you at least pre-scout. If you can't pre-fish, go and pre-scout, find out the depths, find out the current, find out what it looks like, where are you getting in, where can you get out? Because a lot of these tournaments are timed, especially if you're on foot. Got to get in, you got to be able to get out and get back in reasonable time. And so waiting takes a lot of planning like that. How far am I going to go? Is there a road that I can get out and walk the road back? Or do I got to trudge all the way back upriver? It takes a bit of planning. So that's the number one thing. And then secondly is just, planning according to what bait you're going to use. And my go-to three is a square bill crankbait, a spinner, and a good paddle tail. Those three, anything else is extra, anything else is bonus. But if I've got those three, I know I'm going to catch something. Those are my three go-to baits. If I had to tell someone, hey, these are three monster baits that you want for creek and river, smallmouth fishing. Those are the three go-tos.
That is awesome. And guys, just to remind the audience, hey, thank you for everybody who's tuning in right now. We're talking with Matt from Matt's Fishing Mission. Guys, I have his link in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel, you guys. I hit that like button here as well so we can let the YouTube algorithm know that we're rocking and rolling tonight. Matt, I was actually going to ask you about those tactics that you use for smallmouth. Now, you're a guy that likes to fish creeks and rivers a lot. Can you kind of expand on those three baits for the audience who might like smallmouth bass fishing and who might want that extra insight in that?
I'm glad you asked that because I'm fully prepared to show you my three favorite baits.
He came prepared. I like it.
I would say before this year, a square bill crankbait was my absolute number one, top of the line. And Bandit 100, I can tell you the baby bass in Bandit 100 is just, I don't know what it is about this largemouth fry looking thing, but smallmouth hate it. They hate to love it is what it is. And they tear it up. But a good, well-balanced square bill shallow diving crankbait. So it's something that's in between 1 and 4 feet. If you're doing, normal creek and river smallmouth fishing, something around there is the perfect depth. If we're talking spinners, this is now my number one bait in creeks and rivers of all time. Underutilized all my years before. I got sent a mess of them from my sponsor LureNet, and I was like, Sweet. You know what? I'm gonna throw these hard and see what happens. This spring I caught 6. Just in spring I caught 6 Fish Ohio smallmouth. All on this. I didn't even give you a pretty one. This is the exact one I've used. This Sweet. Is the Covert Series spinner in color Arsonist. This just, you can see how hard I fished that thing.
Oh yeah.
So this exact spinner has caught 6 Fish Ohio small. That was just in the spring. I got a couple more in the summer.
Nice.
So spinner, absolutely. It bounces off a cover well. You can throw it what I call naked, which is just as you see it, or you can throw a nice trailer on it. The trailer really depends on how big you want that presentation to be. You can put a small grub on it, or if you're in an area that's got deeper water, I'd throw something bigger on because that's typically where the bigger smallies come out and bigger smallies like bigger baits. And speaking of bigger baits, my third favorite would be a nice 3 to 4 inch paddle tail.
Nice.
This is from my other sponsor, Breaking Bass LLC. They got a nice almost 3 3/4 paddle tail. Love this thing. Throwing it on the back of a spinner or just running it on a swim jig by itself. If you put those 3 things in your bag, there's no way you're not catching smallies unless there are no smallies in the area. But those 3 will absolutely get it done if you're looking for river fishing in general, not even smallmouth. Those 3 things are absolutely great baits.
That is some good insight, man. And I'll have to try out some of those myself, man. Now, kind of comparing and contrasting. So rivers and creeks compared to lakes for, smallmouth. How would you compare and contrast like the different game you have to play to be successful with smallmouth?
For specifically smallmouth?
Yeah.
In lakes and rivers. I'm not even going to front. I don't do any smallmouth fishing in lakes.
Okay.
If I'm in lakes, I'm typically either going for a pike or a muskie, or I'm largemouth fishing.
Right on.
I love the creek and river game so much. That's
I can tell.
where I do most of my stuff. So if I've got a couple local lakes here that do have smallmouth in them, but when I'm fishing in the kayak or paddling around a lake, going for crappie, fishing for small or largemouth, doing a little panfish, something like that, maybe chasing after a muskie or two. But I love the waiting game for smallmouth. So I don't want to act like I know everything about lake smallmouth fishing, because I don't. That's just something I am not into, and I don't invest a lot of time in, and I keep my feet wet. So that's what I know about, and I can speak to that.
Because I have to say, man, you have the creek game down, you got the river game down, and I just didn't know if you fish any lakes. Like when I watch your show, like you do, like a lot of what you talk about. And hey, you know what? You have that game down. If you're good at it, man, stick to it. That's phenomenal. Now, guys, I want to give a shout out to people in the chat here. I know we've had a lot of good cooperation.
That's
Jenny's in here. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate you being here. Derek's in here. Derek, thank you for being in here, man. Copley in the Creek, appreciate you being here again.
Go back to Derek's picture. Go back to Derek's picture. That picture he caught with me last week.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Look at, wow, no kidding.
He was a fraction away from a fish, Ohio. He was literally this far away.
So it's that exact bait. Wow. So really that bait is just absolute dynamite. That's awesome, man. So mom, again, thanks for being here. And Matt, my mom gave you a congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep. And then you guys, I want to try to get everybody here. I got Dark Empire Productions who was in here tonight. Thank you also for tuning in, guys. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. So Matt, another topic that's interesting. So you and I are both content creators. I'm much newer than you are. How do you feel like the social media aspect of things has impacted fishing, maybe for good and for bad? Because I know there's been a little bit of both. Like I know it's some give and take there as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I would say that, it's definitely been good for the sport because it's put more eyes on the sport. And if there's only a negative to getting more eyes on the sport, it's getting responsible outdoorsmen and outdoorswomen in the mix. And that's the responsibility of us who are here before them, that people that have the audience is to promote that kind of, outdoorsmanship and taking care of our resources. So I make sure to put all that stuff on my channel where we go out and we partner with conservancies. We do river sweeps, litter cleanup. We try to do, good deeds for, inspiring young anglers, giving away fly fishing kits, helping out Boy Scouts, stuff like that. And just inspiring those people to do well and be a good outdoorsman or outdoors person, and promoting that. So as far as like positives, man, the COVID era definitely spiked the outdoor game, and it got social media. It was definitely a positive because we sold more fishing licenses in the US than the previous 20 years combined in that 2-year span. So, exponential growth within people who are at least trying out fishing for the first time, getting out in rivers. Now, the negative was that, yes, we saw some areas that were not taken care of properly. And that was, it's obviously their responsibility, but I feel like there's a responsibility on folks like you and I to help encourage that. So when they see people they may look up to, they see them as positive role models and people that they should, mimic behavior after, at least when it comes to taking care of the resources we use.
Without question. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Now, do you think that social media itself, do you think that there is enough people promoting the goodness that you're talking about?
Oh, that's hard to answer. There's never enough. Until everyone's doing it right. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So
that's true.
There's never going to be enough. Until we're all being the model outdoorsman. So yeah, all we can do is keep promoting it and hope that catches fever and, catches on and passes on to the next angler. I know I've picked up good things to do and good habits to do from watching other people. And then I try to incorporate that into my episodes to help do the same.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Guys, I also want to give a quick shout out to everybody watching on Facebook tonight. I have a link on Facebook too for this. So thank you guys for being here, and just thank you everybody for participating tonight. I appreciate it as always. Now, Matt, as far as the social media thing goes, so you mentioned the COVID era. The COVID era was synonymous with a spike in outdoorsmen and a spike of YouTube content creators. Do you feel that it is tough to, I guess, quote unquote, make it big on YouTube or to grow an audience? Or what are your thoughts on that? Because I had to think, long and hard myself about doing a fishing channel and to see what I would get out of it. And I would kind of say that there was a lot of passion behind it because I'm a very passionate fisherman, but a lot of people told me that it's hard to stand out. It's overcrowded. So could you just kind of touch up on that just in case there's people out there thinking about starting like a fishing channel, a hunting channel, or maybe an outdoor channel, whatever you want to have it?
My biggest advice would be is if you're into fishing and you want to start a fishing channel to make it on YouTube, and that's your reason, don't do it. And if it's your passion and you want to film something to inspire, or you want to make something to have memories to look back on when you're 80, or make something for your children to remember you by, that's a reason to do it. That's the passion you need to go into there. And that's why we started our channel. And I say our channel because it was for our family. Like me and Jen, I wanted to have something that, captured our adventures. Jen doesn't go out as much nowadays, but when we started our channel, me and her were just, fishing together, being a new married couple, hitting the creeks and just having fun and creating memories. And that's what it was about, is just creating memories that we can look back. We watch our old episodes and laugh and, oh my gosh, look at the antics we were doing. And it's fun. And then, so if that's the reason you're doing it, to create something special for yourself, and to inspire people to have fun. And if you have fun doing it, do it. If you're doing it to be like, I want to quit my job and be a YouTuber, don't do it for that reason, because it's like trying to be in the NBA. If you love basketball, that's great, but don't play it because you think you're going to go to the NBA. Do it if you love basketball, and and that's something you can't live without. And that's for us. It's like we can't live without being in the creek and fishing. So that would be my advice. Do it for a good reason. Do it for yourself. Don't do it to try to become famous.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that is such a good lesson because, a lot of us want to make money doing something that we love doing. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, though, YouTube videos are out there forever. It's good memories to put out there for you to look back on. And truthfully, your videos could be what inspires people to get into fishing. So, in that realm, you could be doing good by others by just, putting good out there on.
Yeah. And you will inspire people. If you have a positive message, I can't tell you some of the best things. It was about a year into, and I'm sorry to break away, but I was about a year into my channel, and I got a message, a handwritten letter from an 85-year-old man who was local. And he said, "Young man, I can't tell you the places you've taken me back to. Just, I can't walk anymore. And watching you walk these creeks that I did as a young man is such a joy to me." And he's like, I can't describe just what you've done to bring these memories back to me and things I forgot that I did in these creeks. And then because I was deciding, like, okay, is this too much effort to try to, do this and a job, and and it's just a lot. And then getting a message like that, and then I've had countless since then. And it's just, it's like that gives you some drive to be like, man, I really made a difference in this person's day. I've had people tell me they were going through, cancer treatments, and watching my videos gave them a laugh and a smile and made their day. And it's just like, oh, that's what I want to put out. I don't want to do this to try to, quit my job or, make $1 million from it. I want people to laugh and have fun and smile and tell me they enjoyed it and they learned fishing, or they took their son fishing or their daughter fishing, or just gave them joy in some small manner. That's enough reason for me. And that's why I keep doing it, because it just keeps happening like that. So that's the reason you do it, guys. Put the passion behind it, and people will be inspired, and you will get someone to pick up a fishing pole and go out there and do what you're doing.
And I even think just you talking to me tonight, you saying this is giving me a whole new perspective on this even.
Yeah. It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. And it's not only gotten people into fishing, but it's created opportunities for me to make money from this. Being passionate about what you do, is develop relationship with, sponsors and bait makers and, people that make waders and, big companies, multi-hundred
Yeah.
million dollar companies like LureNet, or small, great companies like Breaking Bass, or even overseas companies like 8Fans, which provide my boots and my waders and my jackets and all that. But it's crazy that I've reached people in California and across the world, and have connected that, and to help empower my channel to bring more cool ideas and adventures out to people. So it's positivity spreads. Keep it positive and passionate, and yeah, good things will happen.
And you really said something, right there, that there is so much negativity on YouTube and on the social media platforms. It's so good to see positivity out there. It's so good to see something coming from a passion of yours and mine that reaches people in a positive light. They could be watching, anything else. They could be watching drama channels. They could be watching anything else negative out there, but they tune into, a guy like you or me that loves this stuff, and they have a whole different perspective on like what's good content and what's not. And that's changing hearts and minds through fishing. And you can't ask for much more than that.
100%. Absolutely. It's a great community to be in. Like, there are way more positive people in the fishing and outdoor community than negative. It's funny. And it used to irk me when I would get a negative comment about you did this wrong or you don't know what you're doing. Now instead of responding to those, I just say, thank you for the watching. I appreciate you watching. That's all. I'm not going to battle with people about what I did that was wrong in their eyes, or they didn't like what I did. It's just thank them, and hopefully their day gets better. That's
just a hell of a good response, because you know what, man, some of these people are trolls and you could argue with them all day, but what's it actually going to do?
Exactly.
That's it. All right, let's see what some people in chat have to say. Jenny. That's awesome. See, that's what you're talking about right there.
That is one of the greatest things, and I didn't bring up that. I'll tell a quick little story since Jen brought it up. Jen, that's my wife in the comments there.
Yes. Yep.
She got diagnosed with cancer a couple years ago, and the fishing community, so outstanding, man. They rallied around us. They helped us within our friends and the fishing community, helped us raise like $15,000 so we could do the IVF and get our embryos made before she had to do her cancer treatment.
Wow.
And so, man, the fishing community is so solid. Love them. They had our back. They always checked in on us and sent positive messages. So, man, big love. I love the outdoor community, and especially this, like the local Ohio fishing community. Way more positive people than negative, and it's been great. It's been great. They've really helped us through the last 2 years, which were tough, and the light at the end of the tunnel was little baby Phoebe coming a few weeks ago.
Well, dude, to say I'm happy for you guys is an understatement. That it's a
I appreciate that.
I am thrilled for you guys, man, and shout out to the good people in Ohio for giving that good view of humanity. I really think that we need more of that, and it's just such a good look for the fishing community, and just a good look for the human spirit in general. So that's phenomenal. We got the creek crawler in the house. He says, I heard creaks and I came running.
Let's go.
He says, let's go.
Brian, what up, dude? Ed, what up, man?
Ed Sam's in the house. There it is.
Oh, I'm glad that's what does it for me. Those kind of messages. That's what does it for me. That's what keeps me going, man. I love that.
Awesome, man. Ed, thank you for tuning in. Creek Crawler, thank you for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. So Matt, we're going to get wrapped up here tonight, man. You have been incredibly generous with your time. If you want to stick around with me after the broadcast, we'll chat for a second. Matt, go ahead and tell the good folks on YouTube, because like I said, I'll post this after for the people who couldn't catch it live. Tell them where they can find your content and how they can access your content.
You can find me here on Facebook and YouTube, Matt's Fishing Mission. You can find me on TikTok, You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Fishbrain, and you can find me on Rumble. All of those great channels. Man, we have got a banger coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m. So check in and stay tuned for that. Me and Paul from Cincy Fish Dudes light up some creek smallies on the river.
Beautiful. Cannot wait to see that. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Bearded Fishing Chats, my channel, my neck of the woods. Guys, please subscribe. Hit that like button. I got some ice fishing stuff coming up here in the coming months. I got some good guests lined up. By all means, if Matt is ever willing to come back, I'd love to have him back. I've had a really great time talking with him tonight. Love talking to positive people on here. And like I said, you guys, once this comes out, if you're catching this after the live, please subscribe to Matt's channel, subscribe to my channel, share this with people that you know. Like I said, this was a great chat tonight. I appreciate you all tuning in. Matt and I will talk after the broadcast, and you guys, hope you have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the week.